Fiona Hall, Liberal Democrat MEP for the North East. What do you make of these proposals from the European Commission to do with lorries?
I'm very pleased to see that they are bringing forward proposals to make lorries safer. Anything that helps vulnerable road users like pedestrians and cyclists is a good thing. But we will of course be looking very carefully in the Parliament when we get these proposals to see whether there are ways that we could improve them. For instance, there is work there, proposals there to change the design of lorries and the design of the front of lorries, but we might want to look whether there are further things we can do, for instance increasing the glazing on the cab, which is quite important for enabling drivers to have a good look around on all sides of their cab.
Now, you had a very large and successful campaign in the European Parliament with the family of Ailey Cairns, who sadly died when she was hit by a lorry whilst cycling. That campaign called for cameras and sensors. Is that something that you think you could, you're talking about improving these proposals, do you think that's something that might be able to go into this when it comes to the European Parliament?
That is absolutely something that we will be looking at when we're looking at these proposals, because if we possibly can, I would be extremely keen in getting that incorporated into the proposals, but we'll have to look at whether technically we can do so. The simple fact is that there is no magic solution on this. There's a number of measures that we have to take, and the more that we can bring forward, the better. It's no good thinking that just improving the design of the lorry is going to do it. It's about a lot of other things as well, increased visibility, but also the design of our roads and that sort of thing. And we see, unfortunately, day to day these accidents are still happening, and we have to take every possible step that we can in order to cut these terrible fatalities.
The European Commission seems to suggest that these measures, even on their own, could significantly cut injuries and death. What do you make of the design proposals as they stand, at least?
Well, certainly it's true that a design of a lorry which pushes people away from the lorry rather than underneath the wheels, that is going to help. But of course what we really want is to avoid collisions altogether. I mean, it's only slightly better to have something that is less dangerous but still doesn't address the fact that there are collisions between lorries and vulnerable road users. So it's definitely a step in the right direction, but it's by no means the whole answer to the problem.
And in the case of Ailey Cairns, would this kind of development have made any difference? I.e., does this go far enough in your eyes?
It's very difficult to tell in any particular case, but certainly if there's going to be a collision, it's better that the person is not dragged under the vehicle. But really what we need to do is to stop collisions, and that's what we need to be looking at as a priority, to make sure that there are not collisions between heavy goods vehicles and vulnerable road users.
Now, following your campaign in the European Parliament, where the majority of MEPs supported you, the European Commission, after very lengthy delays, came back really saying that they weren't going to take much action when it came to the idea of sensors and cameras. Is there still more you can do? Are you still following up on this campaign, for example, with these proposals when they come eventually to the Parliament?
Yes, we will definitely be looking about how we might be able to bring this in, because the technology's moved on, and the Commission has got back to us more recently saying that they appreciate that the technology is different than they thought it was when they gave us a rather negative answer. So we will keep on pushing on this one. We'll have to look at the detail, we'll have to see whether this is a place where we can introduce the idea of cameras and sensors, but it's certainly something that we will be trying as hard as we can to do.
Just finally, you're standing down at the forthcoming election next year. Do you think you'll be able to make progress before your term is up in the Parliament?
I'll be fighting to make progress right up to the very last minute, and I'll also be fighting to make sure that I have a successor who will take the task on if it's not finished.